is One and Khan, and it's Tuesday in English. So for instance, and all the Thais have all gone back to work. Peace. I have peace. Peace. I'm jealous because they're all working, and I wish I could go to work, etc. But I'm not allowed unless you're working in a field which is not part of what a Thai can't do. Anyway, but again, it's their rules, and I live here, and just what you got to sock up to. But anyway, so. It's a one car, and just listen to not an interesting debate. I did a debate on talk crap by that Rory idiot. What's it called? For instance, who said Erling Haaland wasn't very good. Wasn't going to score many goals in his first game, where he broke the record, etc. You know, that idiot from the former EastEnders actor. You know, who wasn't very good at that either. But it appears that, for instance, now he's going to come up with another one saying people, especially over 50 years old, should not be wearing football shirts. And honestly, for me, I think the guy's a complete idiot. It really is. And I know, for instance, it is some people. I know two of my a really good friend of mine in England, a really good friend of mine in Denmark, etc. Two of my best friends. Both never wore football shirts. For me, for instance, I always wear a football shirt. As a kid growing up, I grew up in the 60s and 70s. I'm 61 years old, and it appears that when I was a kid, we used to have scarves, one scarf, a hat, bobble hat, and things like that, rackles and that kind of thing. So we've always had this to allocate to what they wear. You never really a football shirt when I was a kid. But then again, as now things have changed now, and football shirts, and I remember football shirt did come out, and they were a bit kind of, why are you wearing a football shirt? But football shirts now are so expensive, but they're so very, very well designed. And for instance, I wear this. This is my Manchester City running top. This is what I wear for running. Now, the reason why I wear this for running is because the quality of the shirt. And it's ideal for me for running. It keeps its shape. It's good for me. I'm running 30 degree heat, and I need a shirt, for instance, which is going to help my skin breathe. And so, for instance, rather than just the Man City, but the fact is, it's a Manchester City shirt is a plus, whatever. But it's the fact that I remember I had a Nike shirt, my black shirt, my previous shirt was always felt pulled, to a point where I had to sew it. I sewed it myself to make it more tighter on my body, but also give me that time to breathe. And the fact is, when you see football players and they're running around and they're training, especially when they're in Florida, and in the Club World Cup, etc., they need to wear a top which breathes. So this is where the evolution of football kits now, have come to. But also, not just that. Our second kit, our St. Mark's kit, for instance, is very stylish. It's a very good-looking kit. And so they're not just where they were before, playing football kits. They're they're fashionable icons. You can wear that black kit with a nice pair of black trousers, etc., and go out for dinner. And that's what a lot of football kits now. So if it's somebody over 50 years old or 60, like for me, I'm very happy to wear my Man City kit. When I was running yesterday, I was actually recognised by some Thai fans. Man City, and so I think this guy's just deranged. I think there was a time in the 80s, maybe 90s, that kind of thing, where if you wore a football kit, again, it's association, that kind of thing. But now things have changed, and football kits are very expensive. And Man City have an exclusive kits, and they have where the Man City just have the Man City badge, so you've got jumpers and golf. Collar shirts, what they call them, Perry shirts, that kind of thing. So they're very, very stylish. So the guy doesn't have an issue, doesn't have a leg to stand on. It's just, again, it's an old worry view. I just don't understand what the hell guys yapping on about sometimes. Again, why the hell are we having this debate? I just don't know. But I don't know why am I talking about this. But I'm very happy to wear my Man City t-shirt, and I'm very happy to show it off, etc. I'm very proud of my football club, and I've got tattoos. Does he have a problem with people, men with 60, over 50 years old, wearing tattoos of the football club? Again, it's just a nonsense argument. And but again, I wear this when I run, and again, it keeps me very, very cool, and it doesn't stretch and it doesn't pull, even though it gets very wet. It's a very good quality shirt. So, but then it keeps me cool because again, it's 30 plus degrees right now in Thailand. So as I'm talking to you guys. Anyway, guys, you want me to see me naked, which is some of you don't want to do that. So, anyway. So, welcome back. Anyway, so the ladies arrived back yesterday. So I'll have a quick shout out for the ladies who arrived back in Southend yesterday. I was watching the plane arrive down. They had an Embraer 195, etc. by Titan Airways, and Nike put this home thing on the sale. So welcome back to the ladies. They look amazing. All the far right protectors outside, you know, all these five wearing England flags and wearing England flags, these far right protectors, as Keir Starmer would probably like you to believe. The kids, you know, the kids with the England flags, you know, and yeah, the far right protector, you know, oh God, don't get me started on this nonsense, honestly, I can't believe it. In England, it's the only place where you're not allowed to be patriotic for your own country. It's just unbelievable. And stand up for your rights as an English person, but or British person, whatever you want to call yourselves. Anyway, but so let's move on from that. But welcome back, ladies. Couldn't stand you standing outside number 10, Starmer. I can't stand that bloke. Love how Trump humiliated him yesterday. But let's move on from politics. And yeah, so I agree with Trump, etc. That mayor of yours, that London Mercy can, bad man, clear. Anyway, guys, so let's move on. So yeah, censorship in the UK is just ridiculous. So for instance, anyway, so right, so the boys arrived back in town. The boys are back in town. So nice pictures of them all arriving back, all looking sharp and nice, and getting back into training. Some of them didn't look like they've had didn't look too out of shape. They look a lot of them look quite fit and they're no different from the way they were in when they were in America. So they all look pretty decent, and but they were hard working and seeing Pep. So it was good to see the guys, for instance, all back in town and all smiles and happy and everything. So they all look quite happy to get back. Really, they look seeing some of them, and I know we saw pictures of Echeverry and in training, saw Jack in training as per usual, and then we see Erling Bussigal running up a hill, and Ruben Diaz, what's it called, posing very nicely. Well, not for me, what's it called, but for the ladies. That was a question. I think there was a lot of guys, people were complaining, some British guys, whatever, I don't know, commentators were moaning about the British, the England game, how it's embarrassing, the women's football is embarrassing. And I find that just so ridiculous. I really do. And again, I follow Man City. I follow the Man City ladies as well as the Manchester City the men. I can get a bit nose bent out of shape by some women, for instance, can say, well, it's women, not ladies, and that kind of crap, etc. When you get put. But again, I remember when I was on more than one occasion, I remember I went out with an ex-wife or a girlfriend or whatever. We seen football, and I would say, well, you know, who's your favourite football player? And she would say, oh, well, I like him because I like his legs, or he's got nice eyes. And I'm looking at her and going, what the hell? You know, and so, for instance, because she's a heterosexual woman looking at to a man, so of course that's the way she probably looks. Now, to me, first of all, when I look at some of Man City players, or when some of the Leila Zahabi, for instance, and some of the other women, I think, wow, she's pretty, because I'm a heterosexual man, so of course, and that's the way I look. Doesn't mean to say that, for instance, I'm a bad man. It's just that I'm attracted to women. And so yeah, so of course I would wouldn't say it does, might, no, I wouldn't say it might either. It's just an added bonus for me, what's it called, following the women's game. But I do follow them also because of the Manchester City players, and B, for instance, they're playing very good football, and the England Spanish cup final didn't look amateurish or behind men, for instance, in the men's game in any way whatsoever. For instance, I thought some of the passing, some of the goals I've seen, for instance, especially in the Euros, was very, very good. And and I've seen Man City score some hell of a lot of good goals. Caroline is a hell of a, and Buddy Shaw is a fantastic goal scorers. But also, for instance, what else I was saying, there was we were talking about the WSL. The WSL was formed in 2010. Where the Manchester were celebrating our second kit from St Mark's, who was formed, we believe, by a lady called Sue Connolly, who formed Manchester St Mark's, who became out of Mcfc, became Man City, for instance, in 1884. So the women do have a long way to catch up, but I think they're coming on leaps and bounds, and the women's style and quality, and there's more investment comes into the game. So all this hypocritical nonsense by the men isn't it shouldn't be. I think some men are just so pathetic. Some of them really are. A man criticising a woman with football is like what Rory Jenkins is saying about a man wearing a football shirt on in his 50s. I think the whole thing is just pathetic, if you ask me. Men can do what, if you want to wear a t-shirt, for instance, you wear a t-shirt. If you want to support the women's game, you do so. For instance, to criticise the women's game is, I think you just, you've lost it. You really do. Anyway, so Pep Guardiola has been speaking. It appears that he had an interview with GQ magazine. Don't know why they get all the information. And it appears that saying, which is something which I've already said, and I believe this is nothing new. He's going to finish football after Man City, right? Nothing. He's going out on top, should he say? And I think and Hugh had a debate on had a chat about it, saying it's not news to me. I don't think Pep is going to leave Manchester City at some point. Will probably leave Man City in 2027. If we finish the treble next season, he might even go out against then. He's not going to go out and manage somebody else. He's just not going to do so. And so, for instance, but I expect he'll probably go away for a few years and then come back and be involved in football in some way, whether it will be a national team or whatever. But he'll go away because he needs the probably get his head is shot, which is understandable because, again, for instance, it's great for him to go away and spend some time, see him at Oasis concerts, and then spend some time with his wife and his daughter. And it's great to see him do that, etc. To go away, because again, he's just a human being, and he gets a lot of criticism, and he gets a lot of spotlight in whatever he does. And being a Man City a manager, which he's very proud of, and he's put the club and the city and everything, he's embraced it, more than you could ever imagine a Spanish person to embrace another country and another city and another culture. So, but to sit there and to say that, for instance, so him leaving, etc., at Man City on top, and if he did leave trophyless in 2027, for instance, if he did, he would still be put down as one of Man City's best managers of all time. So he probably will be Man City's best manager of all time. So and a statue, he'll have a statue, a stand, God knows what, named after him, etc., for what he's done for Manchester City. And people say, "Well, it's all about money." Crap. But I respect the fact that, for instance, of the, and it's going out and can understand as a person, for instance, of what how it he says there come a day when I say enough. I no longer feel like dealing with players, tactics, press conferences. 3 days, my boss. I also know he's Catalan. He's also, and if you know anything about Catalan people, they're very emotional. So, for instance, and what he says one day may not be what he says another day. I'm delighted to have failed. I love failure. It's a society where everything has to be perfect. And when you have to post food on Instagram, how good am I? Every day we have to prove we're happy. Well said. I'm sad. I fall and lose. I don't, and it's like tongue in cheek, etc. But he's a winner as far as I'm concerned, and regardless of what happens between now and when he leaves Man City, he'll always go with my best thing. For instance, it's not because of what he's done for Man City and where we are as a football club. It's with what we as a person, and how he's embraced the city and embraced the moaned about the weather and about Manchester and this and whatever. And he's is an adopted Mancunian, shall I say, for instance, and it's a wonderful, He didn't need to be so, and for instance, a lot of managers come into football and not do that. You know, and like for instance, and you know, to me, I think he's embraced it, Manchester, more than Ferguson did. You know, and so, you know, and I think I can't see another manager who's embraced a football. What's it called? Club or a city more than him. A foreign manager, should I say? You know, and I'm sure somebody's going to complain and say, no, well, no. I have been away. I've been in every way the stadium 4 or 5 months. Crowd shouting, "You'll be sacked in the morning." There's no problem. No professional architect, teacher, journalist. That 60,000 people would want you to lose your job. So yeah, so I can understand how he's feeling, you know, whatever. But he's got nothing to be embarrassed about, etc. For instance, I'm sure some people pick it up, say blah blah blah. Anyway, Jack Grealish wanted by Everton. Maybe it's another thing. Hopefully, see Pep Guardiola hugging Edison, which was nice to see. But for instance, we'll see what happens. The first team, for our first win of 2025-26 by the team was won by Turkey by what was that? Who was that? Jason McAtee, Ilkay Gundogan, Oscar Bob, was that Akanji and Rios. So that was the first team, the team games, took the 6 sides. So that was the first guys who won. Everybody's coming back, big smiles, it's good, it's nice to see. Morgan Gibbs White, why people talk about him, he's done and dusted. Weatherman City, I was listening to Manchester Evening News, they was in their new state, out of podcast yesterday, they had in their new little thing with Sam and Bielski, and they were talked about mostly about Trafford, James Trafford, which is understandable, and he was saying Sam and Bielski was saying he's probably about Man City's most important signing. So there you go. So, but we'll see how that works out and see. Hopefully, this situation with the goalkeeping gets sorted out quite quickly. Akanji's been told he can speak to other clubs. So, but I do feel that we're probably going to lose a couple of players, and some few players will go out on loan. And I'm not speculating who, because again, people have said the same thing, and things just twitch and train. Are we going to get Livramento still talked about? But again, I find that so difficult to get him out of, because he's at Newcastle. I'm not going to get rid of. I don't want to get rid of so many players, and lose out to Man City against James Trafford, and then send Livramento to Man City. I just don't think so. Newcastle look at Man City as one of the rivals, and the last thing they wanted to happen. And they're also going to be nose bitten out of shape if Liverpool. Isak goes to Liverpool. So, but yeah, a lot of information. So, but yeah, no, it's good to see you. Good to see the players back. Apart from that, there's not much happening. For instance, nice to see the players back, but really not much happening as far as anything else as far as transfers are concerned. To see the players come back 3 or 4 weeks now before the Club World Cup. It's not Club World Cup. The friendly in Italy. For instance, great country and one of my favourites. And yeah, so but on that, so we'll see what happens. So, but again, yeah. So we'll just have to wait and see. It's just a watch and see with what's going on. But say congratulations to the English women. Congratulations to welcome back home to the players. Basically, Pep, totally understand, but you'll always keep my respect. I'll always wear a Man City t-shirt, regardless. I'm proud of this, and so we don't care how old I look. And also, I don't think I look too bad for 61 years old. So it takes a lot of work, hard work, but there you go. Guys, I'm going to love you and leave you a true blue tie from Thailand. Like and subscribe. Tell me what you think. Are you in with the ladies like myself? And I'll call you the ladies. I'm a man, for Christ's sake. You are to me. When I see a woman, I see it. I say woman, lady. Right? No damn difference, honestly. So, for instance, there you go. Beautiful people. Guys, love you, leave you. True Blue Time from Thailand. Take care, and I'll speak to you tomorrow.